Our channel blew up nearly a year ago and has been growing steadily ever since. But there are a lot of things I wish I knew before we launched it, so in this video, I'm gonna break down the lessons we learned from 2023 so you can hopefully avoid some of our mistakes. And the first we knew was important, but too often we didn't strike a great balance, and that's storytelling. We wrote either too emotionally with little valuable info, and other times we wrote too much jargon and small details that didn't matter to the lesson of the video. So now we're trying to focus more on teaching a lesson through a well-crafted story and only including details if they serve the story, which can be tough to parse through when going through drafts, especially all the time spent researching and finding revenue numbers and dates. It's tempting to include as much as you can because of how long it took to put everything together. Flexing the data you found isn't valuable, and sometimes you just have to cut out the stuff you already like. We're trying to analyze what will actually bring our audience value and figure out what info is actually important. And it can be really hard. For our channel anyway, we think that telling a lesson through a story will be just delivering raw information. And we definitely should have started doing the next one sooner, and that's collaboration. At first, we were just making videos from our perspective based on what we found when looking around in the topic. But then we started interviewing developers of the games we were talking about and industry experts sharing their knowledge with our audience. Opportunities like this help us not only research our topics by getting inside information, but also just elevate the quality of our videos. When reaching out, I'm usually messaging cold, so I try to do everything I can to make sure I can offer them something in return to respect their time and allow both parties to benefit from the exchange. And for these interviews, our tool of choice has been Riverside, which is why I'm so excited they're sponsoring today's video. Riverside makes the recording and post-production of these interviews a breeze because it records each person's video and audio separately. You can download the clips in the same file or separately. Editing with this footage is so much better because if there's any reason to cut out someone's audio, like if two people accidentally start talking at the same time, you can just mute one person's audio independently. For previous interviews, we used to screen record a Google Meet conversation, but that would often lead to low quality, choppy footage, especially if there was any drop in internet connection. Now we can avoid that problem because, and this is my favorite part, Riverside saves footage locally, meaning recordings are always smooth and high quality. And once we have the recordings, the AI features make it easy to find clips and even add captions, which have been great for putting together highlights. Riverside will automatically create a really accurate transcription of the audio, so you can easily repurpose the text into things like Twitter threads or blog posts. From there, we can easily cut up the full interview within the studio using their text editor and export the new version. All of these features can even be used with any footage by uploading your own files directly to the studio. But it's not just useful for video interviews. For recording podcasts, finding clips for shorts, and making video transcriptions, I think you'll really love it. So be sure to click the link in my description and use code TYLERF to get 15% off any individual Riverside plan. It's been a great tool that's genuinely saved me tons of time, and that's why I wish I knew about it sooner. Now, the next one probably affected our subscriber conversion rate, and it's how we could have established credibility sooner. We started the channel with a focus that nobody else really had at the time. Just because the channel idea was unique doesn't mean people would stick around or that others wouldn't swoop in and try to cater to the same audience we were building. We started with a faceless, nameless, disembodied voice. Viewers didn't know why we created the channel, what our past experience was, or what our goals were. In today's AI world and the sheer amount of faceless channels out there, I think it's valuable to be able to tell people who you are and what you're about. To compete with similar channels that started popping up, we realized it was important to differentiate ourselves and give viewers a reason to trust us and continue to watch our channel. The best way to do that, in my opinion, is to build a great brand around our channel. What's our story? What's our mission? What are our values? Who are we? Stuff like that. Speaking of who we are, the face of the channel used to just be Cam, but the new plan is to have me in some of the future videos as well and expand beyond just the one person. In my opinion, there are downsides to having multiple hosts on a channel though. So for the sake of viewer experience, I think it's better to still have Cam as the main subject of the videos and have me as a sort of guest appearance sometimes. Time will tell how this change affects the channel, but I think it'll work better for us in the long term. Another way we're looking to differentiate is by upgrading the format. Basically just adding more value propositions to our videos. The theory is that the more we add, the more the new viewers will enjoy what they're seeing, find value in the channel, and be more likely to stick around as a result. So I want to break out of the simple talking head mold and make Going Indie a more dynamic channel. The journalist channel Vox and creators who spun out of it like Cleo Abram and Johnny Harris have been big inspirations for us recently. They do a great job of bringing a viewer into their world and explaining things in a really clear and interesting way. So for our upcoming videos, I want to add camera shots, better visual explanations, feature members of our community and their games in our videos, and just continue to experiment. There's more we can do to find our own groove, because I honestly subscribe to the idea that nobody has reached the top of their thing by copying what's already working. Rather than following what exists too much, we should create our own trends. And I believe we can do that when we understand our audience like no one else. Though I do have different plans for this channel you're watching now, where basically I want to focus on practicing my writing over other things because I want to become faster and more productive at that. But I'll talk about that in a future video. Which brings me to the next thing I wish I knew, and it could have saved us a lot of time. Better planning. When we first started working as a team, we tended to just kind of wing it, trying to start from scratch each time, turning a topic into packaging, and that into video script with no real strategy. But then after getting some experience working together on several videos, we analyzed our process and boiled down exactly what we needed to start writing. I organized everything into a template in Notion and now have a step-by-step process for each of our new videos. After picking a topic, we actually don't start with packaging most of the time. Sometimes I have title or thumbnail ideas before starting, but the first part of our process is research. I call this step our brain dump because I just like to write down all the thoughts, questions, and ideas we have, as well as research outside information and dump everything into one place. Next, we establish the premise of the video. This is the combination of the promise we'll make to the viewer in the packaging and the hook, and the payoff or value that they'll have by the end of the video. There's countless ways to intrigue a viewer and deliver value to them, so this concept applies to any video we'd make. To brainstorm the promise and payoff, we use the research we already did to jot down ideas for what I call our core intrigue and our core takeaways. Really understanding what these are is all we need to move on to writing, and it's why we start with research. At this point, if we can't put together a great promise or valuable payoff, we don't even move forward with the video. Then we write a first framework draft of a script to get the structure right, and from there, write and rewrite multiple versions. To improve our future videos, we're trying to better plan the edit after writing. At VidSummit this year, I went to Cleo Abram's keynote and saw her and her team's process for planning their videos, and saw a really cool way they do this. After scripting, Cleo puts together a document with 3 different columns: what the viewer hears, what the viewer sees, and sources. And now that we're implementing this step into our process, I think we'll start to do a much better job communicating information to our viewer while keeping it entertaining and saving ourselves a ton of time. This is all just a small part of an upcoming video I'm making about how I've been improving my production process this year to make better videos faster. So stick around if you want to see that. And be sure to check out Riverside. It's the first link in the description. And if you want to see how we built Going Indie from scratch and got monetized in only 4 days, watch this video. All right, see you guys later.